Yeah, peer observation was a really interesting experience for me because it was something I was quite, I think, we all have our own different styles, and I think having a colleague in a school where I was very new, and who was also from a different discipline come in and sort of watch me teach. I was worried about being quite self-conscious, but I think it actually ended up being a very, very helpful experience for me. So one thing I will say, it was a colleague who I was teaching with him on a different course, and I decided that it would be great to pick somebody who would be comfortable being frank with me and who I would be comfortable sort of getting frank feedback from. And I kind of briefed him like that. I was like, listen, I'm new to this. I have to not just do this within the school, but I also have to do it for this portfolio. And so really appreciate the frank feedback. What was very interesting is he came in and he watched me sort of deliver the seminar. And at the end of it, the feedback he gave me was basically he thought he was very happy with the style. He was like, you're very engaging. But he sort of pointed out that a lot of the methodological or ethical terminology that I was using or that I was potentially taking for granted was maybe not familiar to students in criminology and social policy also, because it was potentially a little bit more rooted in anthropology or sociology even. So terms like positionality, which is something where as ethnographers, we really have to think about when we go and do embedded field work, we have to think about how is my particular identity, how I present visually, but also my background, how is that shaping the interactions I'm having, the type of access, how people are reacting to me, how is that kind of impacting potential power structures in the field? Like that was something which, as somebody who had a PhD in anthropology, I just took that term for granted. But he pointed out that maybe depending on what courses these students had taken, they might not know that. And there was a number of terminologies like that. And so what he did very helpfully in his peer observation, he actually pointed out sort of that was an issue, but also what some of them were. And I thought that's actually very helpful feedback for me to sort of transition into teaching into an interdisciplinary school. So what I did is I went away and I kind of just sat down and I made a list. I was like, what are things that I potentially am taking for granted? And I made a list of these terms and I kind of also ran them by some colleagues. I was like, would this be something you think our students would be familiar with? And then I just sort of made this PowerPoint slide as well. So now when I teach my own course, but also when I teach research methods in various weeks, when I know that I will be using some of these terminologies, I sort of just have a definition on a slide to introduce it to them. And I think it's worked really well in terms of bridging the particular expertise that I bring to criminology and a social policy school, but also bridging sort of the knowledge students would have had already. So yeah, I'm actually very grateful for that feedback.